So Nancy, let's give Nancy a round of applause and welcome.
Thank you. Well, I'm happy to be at your first coffee talk because I'm actually not anymore, but I did used to be a YB parent, and I was here when they opened this campus. I'm very old. So, it was good. And I also want to point out Kelly Garcia over here. She's another media specialist, and she's here to help out today when we get to the logging in portion of the program. So, GoMath is part of a new set of programs, set of textbooks and curricula that are made to support Common Core, which I know that you've heard a lot about, right? How many people have heard of Common Core? Okay, good. So one of the things about Common Core is that we are asking kids to learn math in a different way and to really grasp it and increase their understanding. So sometimes math can feel like this.
I think it's already starting. Okay, here's your homework. First let me tell you the directions. What's 4 take away 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take away. What's 6 take away 1? 1. No, you take away, so you take away 1 out of 6. How much does it equal? What's 10 minus 1? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope. Take away 1. How much is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 8 and 1 more. And add 1 more. How many does it equal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. It makes 9. See how you take away? You take away 1 and it equals 1. Do you get it now? Yes.
All right, so I did have Abbott and Costello, but when I found out Dr. Roderick wasn't using this one, I decided to use this instead. But if you go back later and look, you can check out the Abbott and Costello one because that's pretty funny too. So there it is. 7 times 13 equals 28, and they prove it about 3 different ways. So it's pretty good. Okay, so Common Core, what they're looking for through these new textbooks and new curricula is to give kids, or to allow kids to achieve a deeper understanding of math. Because we don't want people to just say, oh, I don't get it, I'm not good at math. Everybody can be good at math. We have to teach it in a way that allows kids to explore. So here are some of the ways it's different. If you're not a kindergarten parent first time, then you're going to see that math looks different than what it looked like when your other children were, when your old children were going through, or your older children. We are giving kids fewer topics, but greater focus on those topics. We're aiming at developing number sense, problem-solving skills, and critical thinking. Like the group over there that was saying, well, is the hostess included in the count of the party guests? Those are the kinds of questions we want kids to ask. That's why wording matters. We want them to think about the problem, not just what is the rule, what is the algorithm for solving this. We want them to actually understand the math. So in grades K through 2, the focus is on addition and subtraction. Pretty much the whole time that they're working, it's addition and subtraction. Obviously, the numbers are going to be bigger, the problems are going to be more complex in second grade than in kindergarten, but we're really focusing on addition and subtraction, and in grades 3 to 5, it's multiplication, division, and fractions. You will see a lot more multi-step problems, and you will see a lot more questions that ask students to solve the problem in more than one way. And some of the ways might seem complicated. But what happens is they're learning models. They're learning skills that they can apply later. So maybe right now it seems like it's a lot of work to get to make a grid and plug in numbers and do all these steps to multiply two-digit numbers. But what happens is when you go to algebra in middle school and high school and you're multiplying polynomials, those skills really help and you use the same model. We're also looking for coherence. The skills are stepped up from one grade to the next, and they're recycled, they're revisited, so the kids really get a solid foundation. Within a grade, the subtopics are going to support the major focus, so they might be teaching, say, graphing, but it's within the context of addition and subtraction or multiplication and division, depending on the grade level. It's not just, here's how you do this kind of graph, sort of separate and divorced from everything else. It's all part of the same program. It all is supposed to tie together. Kids are given context to help them make sense of math. There are a lot of word problems and models and drawings to help kids really get a deeper grasp on what they're doing. And as a result of the way the standards were organized, you might notice that what your older child learned in 4th grade, they're now teaching in 2nd, or what they originally taught in 1st grade is now not taught until 3rd. It depends on what made sense when they were organizing the standards. So some things have moved, some things are the same. And we're also trying to increase rigor. We really want kids not just to make it hard, to make it challenging and thought-provoking so that students really have to work and really understand the math. We want them to have a conceptual understanding. We also want them to be able to use the math and use numbers and manipulate them and do the calculations quickly. And we want them to understand how to apply it in the real world. It's not just enough to know that 6 times 7 is 42. You need to understand, well, when would I need to use that? When the kids ask, oh, well, when am I ever going to use this in real life? We want them to have an answer. We don't want them to just say, well, you need to learn it because it's in the textbook and chapter 3 says you have to learn it. You need to have that application skill so you know you can use that, and that's what we want to give kids. So here's a little bit of an explanation.
So math in some ways is like baking, and math used to be taught as a recipe, as a series of steps you do, and then you get a result. And what you understand if you're a cook or a baker is that you add things in certain proportions for a reason, and that your cake has to have this percentage of fats to this percentage of flour in order to work. And what Common Core tries to do is to do the same thing with math, sort of developing what they call number sense. And number sense is understanding more or less why we do the things we do. Common Core is taught in a way that most people over 20 don't recognize.
We find ourselves tearing out our hair at the new math.
It's the same thing I do when I get a check at a restaurant, draw a bunch of shapes and tell the waitress to find my error.
Parents taking to Twitter, posting unbelievably complicated homework assignments.
These math problems circulate that just seem really nonsensical, which is really frustrating if you have a kid who has this simple problem that looks like it's being made way too complex for no reason. It's totally understandable why people would say, this recipe that I learned is the quick and easy way to do it. Why aren't they just teaching kids to do that? So for example, we all learned to borrow when we subtracted, but this doesn't really show you what you're doing. It doesn't really show you what borrowing is. And so one of the ways the Common Core tries to explain this is with a number line. Because subtraction is really about finding the distance between two numbers. You start with the number you're subtracting, and you take little hops up to a more round number. So you go 10 between 90 and 100. So you've sort of broken down this distance and you add these numbers together. There's another method called the counting up method, and this is also for subtraction. Count up from 38 to 40. Then from 40, you want to go up to the next big round number, which is 100. Then you need to go from 100 to 300, and then from 300 to 325. So that's the distance between 38 and 325, are these numbers that I've circled. You get this idea in your head that numbers are flexible things made up of other numbers. 40 is a 38 and a 2. The standard algorithm is the easy and quick way to do it. Students absolutely still have to learn to do it that way. But the idea is that this gives them a better understanding of what they're doing, and that there are a lot of ways to do this. There isn't just one right way to find the solution to a math problem. You read through the standards and they seem like really reasonable, good ideas. The most important thing is how they're taught. Teachers understanding what's expected of them, having the resources to teach it well, because otherwise you do end up with math problems that don't seem to make any sense at all. And in some cases, that's just the parents not understanding it. But in some cases, it probably is a bad lesson plan, a bad textbook, a teacher who doesn't quite understand what they're supposed to do differently now. There are definitely bumps in the road.
So you can definitely read the standards for your students' grade level, and really to me they're what make Common Core so good. You know, there are things that a lot of people have criticized, but I really like the standards for mathematical practices because they are asking students to make sense of problems and persevere in solving them. We don't want kids to just try something and say, oh, I'm not good at math, I can't do this. We want kids to learn how to reason. We want them to construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others. To make models, that's what you were doing today. And you were reasoning with each other. You were critiquing the reasoning. Well, yes, I see, but if we did it this way, it would work better. We want them to use appropriate tools strategically. We want them to know, is this a time to use pencil and paper? Is this a time so I draw a picture? Should I make a model? Should I try to round up? We want kids to know how to use the tools that we give them. We don't want to give a test that says, use a ruler and measure this. We want them to know that if we're asking them to measure, they should use a ruler or maybe a yardstick. We want them to attend to precision. Obviously, that's very important in math and many other subjects. I would argue all of them. Look for and make use of structure. That's where they were talking about numbers being flexible. Understand how you can move things, how things are structured. And to look for and express regularity in repeated reasoning. We want them to look for patterns. That's one of the reasons I really like math. It has a lot of patterns and you can move things around, and it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like a puzzle. We want that for kids. We want them to be able to look at a problem and know what they need to do. They need to reason, they need to work through it. And so this is what GoMath is trying to do when they ask your kids to solve some problems that you might think are very difficult. They're working on one or probably more of these mathematical practices in addition to the grade level standards for your child's grade. So I know a lot of you are wondering, how can I help my child at home when I totally don't get this? So here's how. We encourage kids, this is the same advice that they gave me when my kids were babies. You know, encourage your child to solve everyday problems involving numbers. Oh, well, grandma's coming for dinner. How many placemats do we need? Okay? We talk about math all the time. If I'm making, if we need to have grandma's coming for dinner, there are 2 carrots in this package. How many packages do I need to get? All kinds of things. We need to understand, oh, well, I need to put aside this much money to buy this. We need to help kids understand that math is important. It's not okay to let them know, oh, well, don't worry about it, it's not important, because it is. Even if you don't necessarily understand the particular method that's being taught, you can ask your child to show you his or her homework and explain how they got their answers. Then you can learn the methods that we're teaching the kids. Excuse me. Some of the teachers are choosing to send home a letter at the beginning of each chapter with some activities and some things for you to do with your child. So if your child's teacher is sending home that letter, do those activities. For K through 2, in your book, for every lesson, there is a home activity. So you can go ahead and do that. For 3 through 5, that's not applicable. You can practice using the math vocabulary in every chapter. If you look in the book, there is the math vocabulary. You can practice using it. Have your child explain to you what it means. And play the math vocabulary game. Vocabulary is a really important tool for any content area. We talk about using the language of the discipline. We want to use the specific and appropriate language because that is part of what helps students understand. So, yes?
At home, if the parents are dealing with some complex, for example, they're all working on this math problem, and when the kids ask those questions, it's like, Dad, Mom, what you doing and what you working on? Is it okay to talk to them, and is it okay? Because that might be in a complex for that age.
I think it's great for them to see that you're working on it, and you can say, well, this is what I'm doing, simplify it down and say, what are the basics of it? I think they can understand. I mean, perhaps they're not going to be calculating the derivative of anything today, but you can explain that I'm figuring out this, and I think it's interesting. And when children see that parents are doing something, they want to do it. So don't tell them you're not good at math, even if you think you're not good at math. Show them that you're trying because we want them to try. But I think that's a great question. Yes, if they ask a question, I always answered my kids' questions when they were growing up. I think it's good. And if you do math at home, I love that. And there are also math on the spot videos that you can access, and we'll show you how to do that, which show real world math. And it explains the concepts or skills. So if your child's having a hard time, you can say, oh, let's look and see if there's a video for that topic. Talk to the teachers. That's what they're here for, right? I know this is conference week, but if you're having trouble, they're here for you all the time. But make an appointment so you can make sure that they have time for you. If you're looking for more resources, these are some websites that you can go to. This is going to be linked on the Yerba Buena website, and so those will be actual links. My contact information is also at the end, and you can email me or Kelly, and we'll send you these links. So those are just more resources for you if you want to know more about how math is changing. So I'm going to kind of show you, and I was going to run through, but since they're videoing this, I think I'll just show you the presentation, and then we're going to get a chance for you to actually log in. So what you want to do is see how the student portal looks when you log in. And there are 2 basic ways that you can log in, and the student portal looks a little bit different depending on how you do that, so I'm going to show you both. So if you go to, just on your computer, you go on the web, you go to k6thinkcentral.com, you can log in. Do not save your password. Have your students save the password. It's a bug in the program. They're trying to fix it, but right now, if you save the password, when you come back, the password will be there, but you won't be able to click the login button. So you can say, remember my school, so you don't have to select the district and the state and the district and all that. That works fine. Just don't save the password. And this is what it would look like if you log in on any standard web browser using any computer. Are there any 3rd grade parents here? Okay, so your kids have Acers. If they log in just using a web browser, they'll see it this way. Otherwise, they will see it a different way. I'm going to show you that afterwards. So when you log in, you're going to see this on Think Central. So So it's 3 main sections. Right here, this is things to do. If your students have assignments from the teacher, that's where they're going to show up. I don't think anybody's going to be having kids do tests at home, but if they're taking a test on the computer, that would also show up right there. Right here is the library. That's where you're going to find your math on the spot videos, the online texts, and underneath here is the scores for completed work. Help, that's help using the website, that's not math help. And you just click to go back to the home screen from any page on Think Central. In Things to Do, you can check the assignments, you can click on them to view the details, you can see what you've already done. You can go to the library, okay, and this is where you're going to have all your resources. And afterwards I am going to pull up a couple of resources and show them to you. Basically anything that's in the library, they call it a resource, whether it's the online textbook or a video or anything else. They call it a resource, and that's where you'll find it. If you go to the scores, you can see all the scores. It shows you the overall percentage, and you can click on the individual tests and assignments and see actual questions, what the question was. Did you get it right? Did you get it wrong? So that's really helpful because since we want to develop a deeper understanding, if we made a mistake, I don't want to, tell the child, oh, well, that was bad, you made a mistake. I want to look and have them explain to me what their thought process was and see if we can get them to come to the right answer. So yeah, here are the scores. You can also see any teacher comments. If the teacher made a comment, you'll see there's a little, it's kind of hard to see here, but it's a yellow folder and you can click on the arrow and see everything that the teacher had to say. If you are using an iPad, it looks different. If you are using an Acer, and they have the HMH Player app that the kids can use, and then it looks like this. One good thing about this one is that you can download the lessons and use them without internet if you don't have internet at home. Or if you don't want your child on the internet at home, you can download it either at school or at home, and then you can have them be off the internet. It usually remembers your school and your username, but sometimes you have to put those back in. So you can see it has all the same things, but they look different. One thing that you may need to do, up here at the top, it says LVUSD example. That is my class name. Because this is a new program, they're still working out some of the bugs. And some of the teachers have more than one class. You may have to scroll through to find the right class. Some of the classes are empty. But you have all the same things. You can see the lessons, you can see the assignments, and you can see the scores, which they call reports over here. So you can click on assignments, here's your assignment, you can download it right here, you can see the directions here, or you can click on it to work on it. You can look at the individual lessons. This will bring up the student textbook. And in your reports, you can see the same things. You can tap and you can see which ones they got right and which ones they got wrong. And you can click on those and you should be able to see the questions. The one thing you can't see in this is the teacher comments. A lot of times, though, teachers will not put comments, so you can just check with your child's teacher. Yes?
I have a question. Is this part of their computer testing? Is that what is this?
If they do homework or a test, you will see online, you will see it here.
Okay. And we're doing the tests online, but we're not doing necessarily the homework online?
It's really up to the teacher and up to the grade level. What grade level are you studying?
Third and kinder. Well, kinder isn't, but
kinder isn't, but third may later in the year. Okay. Right now, the students, for the most part, are not taking home their laptops, so they're not going to be assigning online homework. When the kids do start taking home their laptops, if everybody takes them home, because every school has a different policy, I don't know what YB is going to be doing. If YB has a policy where every third grader takes the laptop home, then the teachers may assign online homework at that time. And if you don't have internet, then your student would download the lesson ahead of time. So are there questions about this before I show you the student additions? No?
You know what, yeah, I'm curious. So is anyone using this right now? Any other classes?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Some classes are, I mean, a lot of teachers are using it. They'll use it in the computer lab. They'll assign it. If kids have computers at home, do it this way. If not, they'll do paper homework. And they're using it in class.
So they could probably figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm going to show it to you so you can figure it out too, though. Yes.
What is, if there is any difference between this program and MobiMax?
I'm not familiar with MobiMax, so I can't answer that one.
MobiMath is more of like a supplemental skill practice. This is aligned to the core curriculum that we're teaching, so directly aligned to the standards.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that good every day they ask them to do something in website?
I would say you don't have to ask them to do additional work more than what the teacher has assigned. If your student is having trouble, I will show you where you can go, and then yes, I would go to show them, work with them. I've talked to them about math and practice using math in other ways. At home with whatever, putting books together, or when you cook, or when you're mowing the lawn, how many times do I have to go back and forth with the mower, and if I had a bigger mower, would I have to go fewer times, those kinds of things.
I was just going to add that one of the take-homes that you want from today is to be able to log in, and we've almost given everybody their child's login, and to locate resources. So when your kiddo comes home with lesson 4.5, and you go, did your teacher teach you how to do this? And they go, no. Well, they did.
They did.
But they need more. They need a little more. And you're looking at it going, I have no idea what this even wants me to do. You can log in and click on lesson 4.5 and watch a video of instruction on that lesson happening.
Right, and that's what we're going to show
you. So I think
right
that's what we want to get your hands on. So if you didn't get your password, can you raise your hand, and Maureen and I will work on that while you're going to the next part.
Okay.
Did you get your
question?
Password? Your child? Okay, what's
The question?
Okay, let me get it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my question was for you. For the kinders, because our kids are not on the computer and doing that, they're just doing their sheets. Is there any way that we could get, before our teachers go into the new chapter, get maybe the information prior to them learning, so we know, so there's prep time for the moms and dads?
You can absolutely.
But I know the book is not.
The book is electronic though.
Right.
So the lessons are
you can
all
go on and look and
Central.
do everything before your kiddo.
Yep.
So you just log in with their information.
So we just need to know when to do that. The only indication we know is when the child's sitting there with the homework going, what's going on. So we need, if there's some way before.
So I think that's part of the piece where we want to ensure that the teachers are posting on their website. Like, this week we're working on lesson 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. And then you can log in, sit down with them. You can watch those on-the-spot videos that we're going to show you how to access. And so then you can do like a preview so that they're ready for it as well. Yeah.
So it's not due the next day and we're both sitting there trying to learn.
No. All right, so let me show you. Okay, so I'm going to go to Think Central right here, and my example student goes to Mariposa. Okay, so when I log in, I have my things to do, and you can see that I have a homework assignment here. So I can click on it. And it brings up my homework assignment. And I'm actually going to start this homework because I want to show you how the personal math trainer works. We had some questions about this, and people were thinking that it wasn't recording their students' progress when actually it was. So when you start, it gives you these directions. And I'm going to go to the activity. And I really like the personal math trainer because on the side over here, it's got a lot of help for me if I have trouble. Okay? So it's asking me to locate 24 on the number line and find which tens the number is between. So it's asking me to click here, enter the smaller 10 in the left and the larger in the right. So 24 is between 20 and 30, right? We can all agree on that. So I'm going to see it on the, where would it be on the number line? It would be here, and it's between 20 and 30. But let's say that I was having trouble and I just could not figure that out. There you go. Okay. All right. So I can, over here on the side, I can view an example. And it's going to show me 24 is between 20 and 30. Okay, I still don't get it. I can go step by step, and it's going to guide me through Sometimes it'll have a lot of steps. In this case, there are only 2. Locate and label 24 on the number line. So I'm going to click 24. And now I have this little plus, so I can mark it. Let's say that I'm going to put it over here. Okay, I'm going to check it. Oh, no, try again. So click 24. Okay, I think it's here. Check. Yes, I got it. So now I can find which tens it's between. It's giving me a little help, 20, and I'm going to type in 30, and I'm going to check. Now, it looks like I've completed this problem, right? Here is where students and parents were having trouble. In order to actually get credit for doing this problem, I need to try another down here on the bottom without help. It wants to know that I can do it on my own. It's happy to help me as much as I need, but it wants me to actually do it on my own. I do want to show you also textbook over here. It will actually bring up the textbook page, so with the explanation on here, if I need it. So when I click try another, it's going to give me the same problem with different numbers. So now I can do this problem. Click 79, mark where it is. 79 is between 70 and 80. I can check my answer. Let's see. Oh, I didn't put it. Okay, try again. I didn't put it in the right place. It didn't like where I put it. We'll try here. And check my answer. Okay. And now when I go to the next problem, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little green check mark right up here. That means that I did number 1 correctly on my own. So that's what you want to see for every problem. Okay, save and close. I'm not. So you can see I'm in progress. I haven't finished that yet. Yes?
Does it time you?
No.
Okay.
No. Because we want them to take as long as they need. My scores, I can click here and you can see how I did. I took a test. I got 85%. I did some homework. If I click on it, okay, now we need to make it a little smaller so you can see. So you can see each one. I got the ones that I got wrong, you can see over here, and I can click. And I can actually view that question and my answer. So closing that. But this is really where we want to look, and that is the library. So in the library, you have all kinds of resources. You have math concept readers where kids can read about math. The two things that I really want to focus on, because I know we have limited time, are the student edition and the interactive student edition. So the regular student edition is basically an online version of the textbook. So that's what you were asking. This is one way that you can see the concepts that the kids are studying. You can click on the table of contents and go to the actual chapter, and within the chapter you can see, for example, here's the vocabulary activity. So you can sort them into a Venn diagram, except this is what the textbook shows. You can't actually do anything in here except read it. You can bookmark the page. So, I need to come back to this. I'm going to bookmark it. You or your student can make notes. So you can type notes or questions. You can adjust the page view. And you can look at other resources in here. So here's a Math on the Spot video player. So if I had a question on this lesson, here's a video that's showing
2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Today we're going to take odd numbers and add them to even numbers, or even numbers and add them to odd numbers. And we're going to find out what happens when we do that. Let's get started.
So some of them seem corny, but I have to tell you the kids really love them. So I'm going to go with it. That's right. They love them, they're paying attention, and they're learning. So it's a little corny. That's okay. And you'll notice that when you open something in the library, it opens in a separate window, so when you close it, you're right back in the library. The one that I really like is and you have all the videos right here if you want to just look at Math on the Spot. I like the interactive student edition. Okay. Each grade level has a character. This is the 3rd grade level. So we're just going to look at the first lesson here. They all follow the same basic pattern. It's going to start with an essential question.
How can you use properties to explain patterns on the addition table?
Okay, so this is 3rd grade. We've got word properties, patterns, and you'll notice that in all of these videos, it seems like you want them to go faster. But really, those pauses are built in on purpose to give students time to process each thing, each sentence, each comment before they go on to the next portion of the lesson.
Hi there. Today is the day of the Great Hot Air Balloon Festival. It happens every year about this time.
So it's going to go through
Ben and I have been counting the number of balloons.
It's going to give you a problem. You'll notice here, A to Z. You have your lesson vocabulary and the glossary for this lesson. So the glossary are the lesson vocabulary are the things that are being talked about in this particular lesson. But if there's any word, any math word that you don't understand, it's in the glossary here, which is all of the lessons. And you have to click on the letter you want. So the vocabulary is right there for you. It goes through different parts.
Is an ordered set of...
You would watch the whole thing.
Complete the addition sentences to show the commutative property of addition.
So you fill everything in, you check, it gives you all kinds of support.
Now let's practice with the personal math trainer.
So it brings you back to the personal math trainer so students can practice, and the first time it shows you the personal math trainer, it gives you all the support, all the resources on the side. And then the second part...
Now try your homework on your own with the personal math trainer.
The second time it shows you, it doesn't give you as many supports. So that is the interactive student edition. and I'm at the end here, so there's no
Thanks for helping me understand addition properties.
It sums it up for you. Yes.
With all the talk of Common Core Math on Facebook and social media, parents complaining, do they not have access to this?
I think that some of them have not seen this.
Okay.
They don't understand it, or they look at it and yes, I will say, you know, that subtraction method that they showed you in the video with the little hops, that seems overly complicated. But when you understand the reason behind it, it makes perfect sense, because that is what subtraction is. It's about difference. How far is it? And I think a lot of people don't understand. And they look at what it is and they say, oh, that's complex.
But maybe
my kid
they don't
doesn't
have
need
access to this yet?
Perhaps.
Are we like cutting edge here?
Well, I think everybody is adopting Common Core Math, but not everybody is taking the time to explain it. This program is new this year, so yes, we are cutting edge along with many other districts that are using it.
Okay.
But I think a lot of times people don't take the time to look into
further.
why. It's just that gut reaction.
Because people will post, can you help me solve my child's homework? And it's like, or have you done your own homework? Like,
right, exactly. I think a lot of times they haven't.
Are there these resources that they're just not
Yes.
looking at?
Yes, there are. Like
There's
those ones
gotta be
that
YouTube videos, right?
Oh, there are a lot of them. And there are a lot of critical YouTube videos. And honestly, a lot of people like to complain.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know you said there were a lot of bugs, and about a month ago I think I had gone on to try to get the book up, and it wasn't, like I could not access it. I couldn't access the different pages and lessons.
That was maybe your internet, or I haven't seen that, but they do, they are working on it a lot. And when they put in upgrades, it will not be available. And so what may have happened is that you logged in, and then they started working, and so then things weren't available, but you were already in.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It just
It's improving every single day. I get messages from them saying, "Oh, we've changed this, we've changed this," so it's improving.
Different. Thank
yes.
you.
Maybe we'll get to this. I've been on it a little at home. Is there any area on the website that allows you to print worksheets for extra help, or is it only?
No, and that is by design. They don't want to have it be printed because it's a copyright issue.
Yeah, I understand that, but a lot of at least my son's in third grade, it's a lot of he needs to draw.
So what I would recommend is to have him go through the personal math trainer and then have paper and pencil and draw the picture.
Just print the screen.
You can print the screen. It's not a great resolution.
It's really hard.
It is.
I tried.
I would just have him draw the picture at the computer. Yeah. Okay, so I want to also show you how it looks if you're logging in from an iPad or using the HMH Player app on your Acer. So if your third grade student is using the Acer, they might go over to the corner here where it says apps.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I couldn't find this page.
Okay, yeah, you're on the iPad, so it looks different.
No, why is this three different
Because when I said they had some problems and some of the teachers had empty classes, you have to scroll through to find the real class, and it's this one. The real class, if you have multiple classes, is the one that has the grade number at the end followed by a dash, or a dash followed by the grade level. So if you're looking at the iPad or the HMH Player app through Chrome, which is what kids might be using if they're on the Acers. See, it remembered my username. You have the same things, but they look different. Now, I only have one class in here because I made it up. And obviously, this isn't a real student, and my student is not taught by a real teacher.
When you get through the app, iTunes?
Yes, you download it through iTunes. It's called the HMH Player app. If the kids are on the Acers and they've logged into Chrome, it was sent out by the district. So up at the top here, it has my class name. If you see arrows, you'll want to scroll through until you see the one with your child's name, a dash, and their grade level. So you can go through to the lessons and see all the lessons for each grade level. And what it does is it brings you into the personal math trainer, the interactive student edition.
Use properties to explain patterns on the...
Okay. If I want to download it for use offline, I click the cloud there. And I can see, I can access all my assignments and my reports, the same kinds of things that I can get on the web login. It just looks a little bit different. And my same tests and homeworks are here. On this one, you can't see the questions or the comments, but you can see what you got right and wrong. And you can see your progress, so I'm doing pretty well. I have to tell you, it's always a struggle when I have to make a mistake so that I can show you what it looks like, because that's just not who I am. But anyway. And then up on the top corner back here is where you can log out. So if you have multiple students using the same iPad, you can just click down here and log out.
So if you have a student that's not in the 3rd grade, but they're going to use an iPad.
Is this version, where is this version?
This version, it's the same version that you can get on an iPad. It's called HMH Player, and it's through iTunes. Or this one is a Chrome app. If you use Google Chrome and sign in, it has different apps that you can add to your installation.
So you go to your app store and download it? Because when I went to the app store, I typed in GoMath.
It's HMH Player. That's why you didn't find it. It's Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. HMH. Yeah. So, are there questions about this? We want to let you guys log in. If you do want to email me, my email and Kelly right over here, her email are on here. So you can contact us, and we are happy to answer any questions. And of course, your child's teacher is also available. Other questions? Okay, so if you have a device and you want to log in using your child's login, I recommend that, and we're here to help you. So thank you so much.
So please, feel free to log in. Is anyone having difficulty getting logged in? That we can help you do that here. Okay, so everybody's been able to log in. And so we would love for you to stay, and we can go through, and if you have some questions or if you want help navigating through the program, we'll help you do that. We're here, we have the next 20 minutes or so, we're available to stay. If you have to leave, no problem. Don't take our manipulatives. We need to keep those. But hopefully this was a helpful way to get some resources and know what's available through our curriculum. And slowly but surely, all of our classes will be engaging in the activities. It's very new. So we're just getting started with the training and getting everybody on there as well. I would like to thank our high school students from Agora High School. They are videotaping. And so we will make the video available on our website on the Parent Resources tab, as well as the slides that you saw today. So if you want to refer back to those, we'll be posting those as well.
Now, these profiles that are for our kids, this doesn't go towards their grade, is it? Does it? Because if we're playing around and getting things...
No, only if the teacher's assigning something.
Sure.
Right.
No. Well, and that's a good point. Just to let you guys know, if something has been assigned by the teacher, don't play with that.
Okay.
Because that will be reported to the teacher, and that would be included in your child's grade. I mean, you would have to let the teacher know, hey, don't count that, it was me.
First grader's getting everything right and I'm getting it wrong, so I don't want to...
But if you go in there, anything that you do that is not assigned by the teacher doesn't see. So you can play around as much as you want, and you can reassure your child, it's okay. You know, your teacher's not going to see that you tried that 16 times. I want you to do it until you're comfortable with it. It's okay. Don't, if they want to keep trying, don't force them to do anything 16 times. But yeah, anything that's not assigned by the teacher doesn't see the progress on that.
Okay.
And I am trying to get into a login thing where it says title.
Let me take a look at that.
Okay, so we're gonna rotate around. We have Kelly and Nancy, myself, and Maureen. We're gonna rotate around and help in any way, but we'll end our official presentation for everybody. Thank you. Thank you for joining.